Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to look at the L-39C jet trainer aircraft in DCS. This module is unique in that it's got the ability to have two pilots, a trainer and a trainee in the aircraft in multiplay mode at the same time. And as a single player we can swap between the front seat and the rear seat using the 1 and the 2 keys. There are differences between the first seat and the second seat. We're going to fly this from the first seat, and we're going to first of all contact the tower, switching on a battery, one of the inverters and the CB radio. We can squelch just to make sure our radio is working, and we're going to change the channel selector to a preset of 5, which I've set before the mission start to be 250 MHz, which is for the current airbase we're standing on, which is Kasab in Oman. We're going to fly south to Sharjah International in Dubai, and we're going to fly along the coast. It's about 120 kilometers, and the overall flight's going to take about 35 minutes. So now that we've got our radio set up, we're going to talk to ATC and request
Infield 1-1, request startup. Infield 1-1, cleared for startup.
Okay, we're going to now talk to the ground crew and
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
get them to place the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
So now we're set to start up the engine. We'll switch off our inverter, leave everything off except our battery and our engine switch. Going to start up our turbo generator. Make sure our clock works. So I'm going to hack the clock to 0. I'm going to wait until we get the turbine or the turbo active. Here we have it on the starter there. So our turbine is now rotating. This turbine is pneumatic. And it allows us to start our engine. So we're going to make sure our throttle is in the cut-off position, and we click our start button. Hack the clock, and after 6 seconds we're going to go into idle detent. We should then have a good engine spool up, and we can see our engine temperature is coming up very quickly. So we have a good engine start, and we're looking at our high pressure and low pressure compressor rev gauges coming up, and we're at 30 seconds on the clock. Once we're under 50 seconds and we're up to 50% on the high pressure, which is number 1, we're good. So we're at 50 there and 30, that's all good. Let's level up everything else. Our air conditioning, switch it on, generators, inverters, radio, navigation, air conditioning to automatic, navigation lights to fully on, and fixed, taxi lights to on, cockpit lights just for effects to show how they work, and we're pretty well set to look for taxi. We still have to wait for our radar altimeter to warm up. While we're doing that, let's have a look at our control surfaces from the outside, make sure everything is working. Flaps, ailerons and rudder. Air brakes. Now we go back inside and we see we got the altimeter working. We're going to reset the warning limit to switch off the warning light. Now we're going to close our canopy. And go into the back seat and do the same thing. On our HSL gauge, we're going to change our course heading to 300 because that's the landing runway on Sharjah that we're going to be coming in on. Okay, we're set to go. Let's talk to the ground crew again.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
Talk to the tower.
Infield 1-1. Request taxi to runway. Enfield 1-1. Clear to taxi to runway 1.
And we've got to use a combination of the rudder pedals and our wheel brake, which is this lever here, to maneuver the aircraft. Just going to stop short.
Infield 1-1. Request takeoff.
Everything looks clear. Nothing in the skies.
Enfield 1-1. You are cleared for takeoff and ready. Climb 300 at QFE 758.84.
Okay, we'll stop here and do our pre-takeoff checks now. We can set our QFE 758. It's actually 760. It's quite close there. There's not much resolution on that dial there, but that's essentially what we do. Gonna set up our flaps for takeoff, and we're gonna set our radar altimeter warning limit to 50 meters because we're going to be flying low. Taxi lights to off and navigation lights to flashing. Hold our brake in. I'm going to spool up the engine for a couple of seconds. Good engine revs. Brakes off. Okay, we're going to rotate on over 150. Take the gear up. Maintain a pitch of approximately 10 degrees. .300 flaps up. Now we turn on to our course heading. So we're going to fly down the coast and we'll get some idea of the density of objects and the type of objects on this map, and also the kind of frame rates and smoothness we get. Note we are playing this on a 3440 by 1440 resolution, so we're still getting some fairly good frame rates, which is a testament to how good this Edge graphics engine is. I need to put our power back to nominal, and we'll leave that for duration of most of the flight. Note on our speedometer here we have two needles. One needle is for the indicated airspeed and one is for true airspeed, and because we're so low there's not much of a difference between the two, but you'll see if we climb that they separate more. We've also got an accelerometer here, which is an indication of the amount of G's that we're putting, and this can be reset on the needle here. See the way the cockpit dims, and now we have our cockpit lighting when we're in the shade. Bit of traffic out here early morning, heading down the coast. Now we're going to get into some of the objects on the map. See some of the ports there. Vegetation, a lot of buildings. We're down to 50 FPS here, and that's with recording switched on also. Not that we don't have any autopilot features on the aircraft, so it's purely manually flying, so a lot of trim adjustment is required. So I'm trying to get it set for a reasonable trim at low altitude here. So we can relax a bit during the flight. Nice HDR effects there with the sun, early morning sun. and the haze and the casting of shadows there. See, the object density is pretty good here into the distance. And make a little adjustment into further down the coast. I do like this map and how it's done, I suppose, because there's not so much vegetation. It's easier to put a lot more object density in here. Constant FPS of 60 here. Now we should be seeing some evidence of Dubai out in the distance there. If I zoom in, yeah, we can see the Khalifa there in the distance, the big tallest building in the world. Really nicely modelled aircraft. And very smooth to fly. Another feature of the multiplayer or the training ability of this aircraft, if I go into the back seat, I can switch on a canopy on the front seat, and if I go back into the front seat, we can see that our view is obscured except for the instruments to allow for instrument pilot training. Right into the back seat again, switching it off. Also, we can see our mirror is nicely modelled. I love the fisheye effect there. It gives you great visibility of what's behind, and also you can see the head movement in the mirror. And if we go into the back seat, you can see the mirror there, and I'm looking forward as the pilot. If I go into the front seat and look left and then go into the back seat, you can see I'm looking left in the image there. So in a dynamic environment with two people, the person behind can see where the pilot is looking. Also note that the gun sight, which is normally installed here for weapons training, I've taken this off, and this can be done in the configuration screen. This gives a nice clear view out through the cockpit and out through the canopy for the benefit of this video. Okay, we can see Dubai is coming into the distance there, and we're now going to make an adjustment, head in that direction. Also, another feature is the water has different shading, and I'm guessing it's mimicking what the real shading of water is around this area, and with dark patches and light patches. Some ships below, containers. Huge amount of detail in the docks area there, really nice. Some power stations there. And we're getting a lot of high-rise buildings now. See the amount of detail, the amount of objects there on the left. Okay, our frames have dipped down to now 46, 48. Still fairly good. And now as we get into the city, we can see the buildings are a lot more lush with lots of trees in the leafy suburbs, parks, inland waterways, and high-rise buildings. Tree-lined streets, boats, yachts, harbours. And the best is yet to come. So going to just to fly down the main street, and then we'll circle around the Khalifa. The strip of Dubai. You see a nice little overhead railway there, and that flies all the way to the airport. Travels all the way to the airport. Okay, so let's now do a quick circle around. A nice building here. Once again, it's nicely modelled with the plazas around it. And the buildings, so they've done a really good job with this map. We're going to head north now. Through the city gates. Now we're heading towards Dubai Airport. We're not going to land here. Just have a look at it. Again, it's nicely modelled. See it on the right here. Sun is coming up, reflected on the top of the buildings. A lot of aircraft on the ground. It would be nice to see some dynamic air traffic there, but probably a bit away off. You can see some landing aids there, which we won't have on our airbase. We're going to set up now for channel 6. And we're going to now start looking for Sharjah. This is all visual. It's further to the east. And there we have it up there. We're going to talk to the tower.
Enfield 1-1, inbound. Enfield 1-1, fly heading 126, 41-3, QFE 757.47, runway 30, to pattern altitude. Enfield 1-1, cleared for visual, contact tower.
We're going to set our needle for 30. Course needle. We'll settle out at 300 meters, which is probably about 900 feet. Okay, so that should be good enough to turn in. Whoops. A little bit low there.
Enfield 1-1, request landing. Enfield 1-1, clear to land, runway 30.
Okay, I've raised the blight. Once we get down below 300 kph, we can deploy flaps for landing and gear. Gear down, we're going to take 30 left, 3 greens, flaps for landing. So we don't have a angle of attack indexer on the aircraft, so it's all going to be visual. Also note that there's a bit of a spool up time on this engine, so you need to be careful that you don't stall it on finals. Everything looks good for landing. No wind, so makes it easier. So we're heading for the black patch. Flare, drop the throttle. Nice gentle descent. Frames are up to 56, up to 60 now. You can see the city in the distance there. So, I hope this whets your appetite for both of these modules, both the L-39C and the Middle East map. Both of them are done very well and they work very nicely. I mean, it's just nice to be even running around. I missed that exit. It's nice to be even just flying around, looking at the sights on this. I certainly recommend. And I think the L-39 you'll probably get a good price in a sale, because it's nearly 2 years old now. We're going to pull off at this exit now. Clean up the aircraft.
Enfield 1-1, taxi to parking area.
I'm not going to go much further than this. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave comments. And until the next time, this is Fish signing out.